Hello, my fellow oddities, and welcome back to part 2 of our storm chase scene that we are painting. This comes from a recommendation on one of the Facebook groups I follow. This reference image comes from Kathy Taft. Thank you very much for that. We have already blocked in a lot of it and started working on the darker clouds in the background. This is your first time, please make sure that you go to my website. I've got all sorts of stuff available for merchandise to support me, and it really helps me out. Without further ado, let's just get right into it. So for today's painting session, I decided I was going to start with some of the clouds up top here and add a little bit more darker red hues to get some really deep purples to shine through a little bit, and to help blend in some of the clouds just a little bit. I work a little bit more on them later on in the video as well. But then after this, I do go down to the foreground and go ahead and work on blocking in all of that. All right, so this is where the real fun of today's painting session comes in. I start blocking in all the foreground, and for that I started off with just using some burnt sienna right off the bat, just to give it some really light, vibrant red hues into the ground. And from there I started adding in some brown hues on top of it, just to add in some details and to put in the mountain range in the background. That way, when I started doing the foreground of the clouds, because the mountain really blends in, you can tell that the storm is hitting the mountains right at that point. So part of the mountains just fade right into the dust clouds. So this is going to make a really interesting layered effect. So at this point, I already had brown paint out, so I wanted to go ahead and mess with a little bit of the clouds up top here to kind of get it to blend in a little bit better to show where the dust cloud was. So I just went ahead and mixed in some titanium white with it and played around a little bit with some of the clouds up top and a little bit down in the bottom. So for the rest of today's painting session, I decided I was going to just put in different layers of colors of grass down at the bottom, just to really give me some base colors before I start doing in all the details and everything like that. This really started actually making it look more and more like the reference photo, and I was a lot more happy with it than I expected to be, but it's coming along very, very nice, and I can't wait to see how the details are going to come out. So for my base colors, I just used some yellow ochre and some phthalo green and a little bit of raw umber just to give me some different tones, and I played around mixing them together in different amounts just to get me some different greens and yellows. So that's going to about do it for this episode. If you've been following along, then you should have something relatively close to this. If this is your first time, please remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button and all that other stuff. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.